So the leaks for Boruto Chapter 9 of Boruto TBV Vortex have finally come out, and the leaks this month have been barbaric. It's been chaotic all over Twitter. You're just going to find some random pages here and there. They're not going to be in chronological order, so I waited for us to get at least them in the correct order before I actually started making the leak video, which is why it is awfully late this month. I think we have finally gotten the best cover, because this is the cover that we get this month. I don't have the translated title for this cover, but the cover looks amazing. This is a Team 10 cover. We see Shikidai, we see Kawaki, and we see Inogen, and they all look perfect. We know that Chocho looks this way because of her particular choices and her abilities, so we're not going to comment too much on that, but overall these designs look fire. We have Shikidai with an immaculate jawline, we have Inogen with a beautiful fit. I love his jacket, and I really love Shikidai's jacket also. I really like the fits that we have for Chocho too. She has a good fit. I really like it too. I like the color scheme that they picked out, a bit of white, a bit of yellow, a bit of red. I really like the fact that they did that. Overall, this is a 10 out of 10 cover. I think this is the best cover that we have seen so far in the time skip. I love the pose that we see each of them have. Inogen has a little bit more of a colder pose with him having his hands crossed, but we continue right where we left off with Jura, Hidari, and Team 10, and they're having their confrontation, and we do see some fighting here. A lot of people thought that they were gonna die, somebody could die, even me. I thought it was going to happen in the coming chapters, but Team 10 actually put a strong performance. We have a Jura who obviously isn't trying. He wasn't trying versus Kawaki, and he's not going to try versus Team 10, so he tries immediately to put Himawari in some sort of tree formation. I don't know exactly why. I don't know if it's to capture it. We don't have the text, so I'm just going off what I see. We have Hidari in a beautiful panel. This panel looks amazing to me, and overall in this chapter, Ikimoto just cooked. Like all throughout, I really like it. I like the feel of Jura, a bit of that ominous slash creepy vibe that he projects, and I really love that. We have Himawari, who is caught. She can't react to it. Obviously, she has just started fighting, and Kawaki didn't even react to it, so it doesn't surprise me. We have Inogen, who uses his art-based ninjutsu and creates some sort of gecko to go and help out Himawari, and I really like the fact that they include this stuff. Inogen, Team 10, they're getting their shine, and it seems like Kijimoto has picked out Team 10, especially out of all the teams that we have seen, because they have been coming out in Boruto TBV Vortex especially, but also at times in Boruto. They're the main squad that is always featured. I think Kijimoto picked out Team 10, and he's like, yo, out of all the teams that we have in the anime, this is the team I'm going to be focusing on, and the rest, yeah, you're not going to appear in the manga. I'm sorry. And this is what we're currently seeing. We have Shikamaru, who uses his shadows on the tree. I don't know exactly what he was doing. Maybe he wanted to make sure that the trees didn't turn into something else, thus killing Himawari in the process, but Inogen does end up saving Himawari as he uses the gecko to go and place Himawari onto Chocho's hands. We have Jura, who says something that is probably interesting, but yet again, I don't know what it says due to us not having the translations. Shikamaru seems to be talking to Shikidai in some sort of way, probably using Ino's powers, but we have a conversation between Shikamaru, who is made aware of what is going on, it seems like, but Jura still has his eyes on Himawari. We go to Kawaki, who has been knocked out, and we see Amado, who's observing. He's like, yo, Kawaki, you're low-key weak, and this is what I think he's saying. This is my own interpretation, but this is where we get some lore. This is where we get some world building in Boruto, something that a lot of people have complained, and I do think it's a valid point because a lot of the stuff happens around Konoha. And this is why I'm saying Boruto TBV Vortex seems to be a lot more thought out, especially in this beginning. As we're going to one of Orochimaru's hideouts, we can clearly tell that this is one of Orochimaru's hideouts just by the way it looks. It has some snakes that act as torches. I really like the fact that we are seeing this, and this could potentially mean that Orochimaru might pop back into the story. We see Kashin Koji / Jiraiya, who is back in the story, and now we see Boruto and Jiraiya / Kashin Koji in Orochimaru's hideout. This must probably mean that Orochimaru may play a part in some sort of way, and this was foreshadowed, especially the 3 great Saiyans having some sort of importance in Boruto, due to the karma. We know that the karma mark that appears on Boruto's hands is kind of similar to the ability that appears on Tsunade's forehead, the Byakugo seal. Same thing with Sakura, and there was a hypothesis that they can learn more about the karma by learning about the Byakugo seal. We got that way back in Boruto, the first part, but we never went back to that theory. But we could potentially be doing just that in Boruto TBV Vortex, with the great Sannin who reappear. We have Jiraiya, who reappeared as Kashin Koji, and Orochimaru, who is not dead in the Boruto series, may make his first appearance in the manga. And somehow, they might find a way to involve Tsunade, or they could just have Sakura be the person to explain exactly what are the origins of the Byakugo seal. And we go back to Boruto and we see a frog. Boruto ends up going to that Toad's location, who is looking at the people who died, and makes his way around where Kawaki was dropped off at by Jura. We see Team 10, who continue to have a conversation with Jura. We don't know exactly what it is about, but they have a conversation. We cut back to the Toad, who is around Kawaki's location, and we see something very interesting. It is not surprising at all, as it is Kawaki. If you check the floor, I am 100% sure, or 99% sure, you might catch Kawaki there, or you might find his clothes there, because Kawaki seems to like the floor a lot more, because he is always there, and we will see that again in this chapter. Right as Kawaki wakes up, he has Delta on his side. But no, Boruto is there too. Boruto is looking at the mess that Jura and Hidari have made, and I don't know exactly what he's saying, but he does not look happy at all. And he continues to stare until Kawaki wakes up and is behind him. Kashin Koji seems to have a conversation with Boruto. I don't know if he is in the village too, or he is back at the hideout, because he hasn't appeared in the village. He has only been in that hideout or next to Sasuke as a tree. We haven't really seen him anywhere else though. But we have Kawaki, who is also there. And I was saying this in a previous video, but when I saw the sneak peek, the first thing that it reminded me of is Sasuke versus Team 10. I thought that just like Sasuke destroyed Team 10, Boruto was about to destroy both Delta and Kawaki. And this sort of ends up happening with a Kawaki, who, as we saw in the sneak peek, dodges the rods quite easily and continues to walk towards Boruto quite ominously, until they are at some sort of a standoff with Kawaki, who makes his hand a lot bigger, but Boruto continues to walk forward. And then, as Boruto is just that fast, and we have seen continuously all throughout the series so far, Boruto ends up blitzing Kawaki and punches him straight through the stomach, calling him to fall on the floor yet again. And this is what I'm saying. Kawaki's favorite thing right now is the floor. He loves to eat dirt. And Boruto doesn't even pay attention to Delta, a Delta who is scared and panicked. I don't know if she activated her eye abilities thinking that Boruto would do something, but Boruto just chills as he talks to Delta. And then we have Kawaki, who uses his karma. And Boruto, for the first time in Boruto TBV Vortex, actually looks scared as he sees the karma and he can't control the karma from going all around his body. Thus, he flies away. And this may be a very big hint at Boruto being scared of using those powers, or Boruto being scared of using the karma, because it would then allow Momoshiki to go crazy and take over. And Kawaki seems to have understood just that, but I don't know exactly what he is saying or is thinking. We continue where we have Inogen and Himawari, who are on that bird. Inogen is chilling with Himawari, and Jura does seem to pay attention to that. Jura has been caught by Shikadai's shadow paralysis, and Kishimoto is really cooking with Team 10. They actually did some pretty useful stuff. They protected Himawari, but Jura clearly doesn't care. Jura actually ends up using a Tail Beast bomb while he is restrained by simply using his eye. And even after Chocho does end up hitting him, that Tail Beast bomb ends up exploding. And that explosion isn't anything. And this is what we wanted. We wanted to see the damage that these new opponents are starting to do. I wish we got the chance of seeing characters like Code or Ishiki do something similar, but now that we are seeing this a lot more, and we're seeing Ikimoto convey the power scaling a lot more by having these big explosions, I really do enjoy it. And Ikimoto didn't slack off. This is an amazing panel. Kijimoto's lack of detail. I really like the fact that he included this. Sarada and Sumire are trying to make their way to them, but it doesn't seem like they will be arriving in time. Jura, Hidari, they all have this sort of conversation, and we have Himawari, Chocho, and Shikadai who end up running away after saving Himawari. I don't know exactly what they are discussing, but during their discussion, somebody appears, and that somebody is a smaller version of Kurama. I will be discussing this a lot deeper in a future video, but this makes perfect sense and it shouldn't be seen as a red flag. We know that the tail beasts, after dying, they come back to life. We literally saw that with the three tails. After Rin died, the three tails came back to life, and this makes perfect sense. I'm not saying that this tail beast that we see right now is exactly Kurama. Clearly it isn't. He's a lot smaller, which means that Kurama was either reborn in Himawari, or all the tail beast powers that was influencing her in her genetic makeup ended up leading to the creation of this new version of Kurama. Whatever the case is, it still leads us to a beautiful conclusion. But what really is a takeover, and what really was interesting to me, is us literally seeing proof of Boruto not wanting to use his karma. And that's why I think you should watch this video right here, as I literally explain the reason why in this video.